My name is Sarah Webb, and I'm the editor of AgriBusiness Global. For this AgriBusiness Global report, I'll be speaking with Sarah Reiter, EVP at BioConsortia, about recent developments when it comes to plant health products in LATAM. Sarah, thanks so much for joining me today. Jumping right in here, can you talk to me a little bit about some of the most recent trends relating to plant health products in LATAM and some of the needs that are driving demand of these products?
Sure. Thanks for having me, Sarah. It's great to join Agribusiness Global. We see quite a broad adoption of plant health products in Latin America. As you know, nearly 90% of all soybeans today get an inoculant. So we consider those plant health products. Those inoculants work really, really well in soybeans, but we're beginning to see other technologies entering the market for other broadacre crops like corn, sugarcane, cotton. And then in fruit and vegetables, we are beginning to see a lot of interesting adoption of plant health products in crops like banana, crops like tree fruit, and in vines.
Okay, and are you able to dive in a little bit more into why some of these products have really emerged within those for those crops?
Sure. So, I think part of it is focused on what these products deliver, and I'm going to speak very specifically to what where BioConsortia plays. This company focuses on microbials, and we deliver our technologies as seed treatments. That puts us predominantly in the seed treatment business, and we work in soybean, corn, cereal crops, sugarcane, potato, a number of crops that are major crops in the Latin America market. What we aim to deliver and where we really see the adoption of both our products and competitor products has been in the yield driving space, technologies that are either biofertilizer or biostimulant and can meet the needs of growers who aren't able logistically aren't able to make the fertilizer applications at the time that could impact growth. So these biostimulants and biofertilizers can fill that gap, and also offering climate stress relief, whether that stress is coming from too little water, too much water, water at the wrong time, or other kinds of climate stresses. We really see broader adoption because of those kinds of technologies.
Okay, and you talked about what kind of crops these products are most prevalent for. Are there any countries within LATAM that you're seeing these products? You're seeing people using these products?
Yeah, for us, we've got a partnership with the Mosaic company. Mosaic is introducing our biofertilizer in Brazil. Will be their first Latin America market, and that's going into corn and soybean to start. Um, we see other companies introducing products for similar crops, for cotton. Argentina and Brazil probably lead the way because they've got the largest adoption among soybean growers of those inoculants that I spoke to earlier. In Latin American growers, you have a really interesting dynamic that we don't share in North America because they've been using inoculants for a very, very long time, and they have a high degree of acceptance, and and so they have confidence that other biological technologies are also going to work in their environment. And so I think the acceptance curve in among Latin American growers is potentially shorter than the acceptance curve among North American growers who rely more heavily on synthetic fertilizers or more heavily on synthetic control versus biocontrol.
Okay, that's good to know. And building on that, can you talk to me a little bit about what the regulatory processes look like for these types of products?
Yeah, so I think we have a really nice plant health scenario evolving in Brazil, where their government has really clarified and simplified the regulatory pathway. And I think, like every company in this space, BioConsortia really wants to comply. And so having clarity about how you do that is a huge advantage. So Brazil has, in recent years, made very clear policies for regulating bio control versus biofertilizer versus biostimulant. And that, I think, gives them an advantage as versus some of the other countries in that space, certainly as versus Europe, where it's not entirely clear, and even as versus the United States, where we've had biostimulant regulation kind of attached to the U.S. Farm Bill for a number of years, and then that Farm Bill not progressing. So I think they've, in Brazil, definitely gotten an advantage because they have such clarity, and it makes it easy for companies like ours to plan and to execute a regulatory scheme, a strategy, and really engage in the market there.
Gotcha. And in addition to Brazil, are there any other countries that you think have the largest growth potential for these types of products over the next several years?
Well, certainly we think about growth in sort of two major categories. So we think about row crop growth, and then we think about fruit and vegetable growth. And so in Latin America, obviously the biggest row crop markets in Latin America remain Brazil and Argentina. We're focusing on corn in Brazil and soybeans in both Brazil and Argentina through our partner Mosaic. We also see really interesting potential in some other crops that are really fertilizer dependent, but for which it's very expensive and maybe sometimes logistically impossible to gain enough access to the synthetic fertilizer, particularly synthetic nitrogen. And so that crops like that are coffee, sugarcane, other crops where we see really interesting potential.
For plant health companies that might be looking to enter the region, to enter LATAM, what would you say they need to consider?
So I would say that if they're small, like we are, we're based in California, we're about 50 people. So it's hard for us to imagine how we would execute in Latin America, even one country in Latin America by ourselves. So partnering is key. I think in order to partner, you have to be transparent and find partners who are willing to be transparent. You have to have a learning together kind of mindset. I think that you have to be companies that are set up for win-win. If you are a company that believes you can win alone and you can do it from outside Latin America, in Latin America, I think you will probably walk away a bit frustrated. There are unique experiences, unique crops, unique challenges accompanying production in Latin America. And we've learned through our collaborators and partners down there that, you know, building relationships with local experts is key.
Thank you so much, Sarah, for all of your insights on this topic. We will continue to report on these product developments as we move throughout the year. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in for this edition of the AgriBusiness Global Report. Be sure to check back soon for more updates on the industry.